What up everyone, and welcome to another episode of Keeping Calm with Tadilo Chino. I'm here with my boy, the therapist. Welcome everyone, welcome to another episode. Got my amazing notebook. Yo, let's go, let's start this. Yeah, you excited? Because I am really excited to get right into this. So yo, let's do this. I've got some notes here. So you ready? Are you ready? And action. So first question, you know the typical drill. How was your week? What have you been up to? I saw this quote on the internet the other day. I think it's one of those motivational guys. I forgot his name, but he has like a wine shop and he like talks a lot of motivational stuff to starting businesses and self-growth and self-well-being and all of the above. And there's a quote that he kind of said that really like shot through me, and that was that you're not a perfectionist, you're just afraid of failing. And I was like, damn, that really hit home with me. And I said, wow, like my personality is the type that is all about being a perfectionist. And some people might say it's a good thing to be a perfectionist because you achieve things, you do this and do that. With a perfectionist personality, you get to achieve goals, you're driven, you know where you're going in life, blah, blah, blah. This goes on. With that, not many people see that kind of have bad behaviors with this, like self-defeating behaviors that come out of it. So for me, like I am a perfectionist, and it really affects me in times because that self-defeating thought process comes in, like when I'm trying to achieve a goal, doing it until I accomplish it, or I start to procrastinate because I'm thinking about the best solution, the perfect solution, or I kind of delay tasks that I want to achieve because I think of it not being good enough. Like the process that I'm doing to get to that task and completing it is not good enough. So I would reassess it, plan it, overdo it. And the whole process starts again and again. And like I noticed that there's two main perfectionist thought processes that go in my head that I kind of realized when I saw this quote. And that is, so in my head I have this whole idea of needing to achieve, like I have to achieve. So I'm always constantly driven by I need to achieve this, I need to achieve that, X amount of time, blah blah blah, I need to do that. And the second one is the need of approval from people. And so those are the two, like I need to achieve and getting approval from people. Can you tell me more of this and go into more detail of what you're trying to explain? Yeah, I can dive deep into those processes. For I need to achieve, I am so goal driven. Like in my mind, I have all these goals laid out for me. Like I need to accomplish it by this X amount of time, by this stage of my life, 6 months, a year. Like I have that thought process going in my head about achieving these goals. So that is like a need to achieve kind of habit that I have. Then I look at my accomplishments as like a value to defining my self-worth. Like then I look at what I've achieved in terms of career perspective, in terms of materialistic things, say the items I have, like it's just an example. I look into that, and then so I'm constantly thinking like, oh my God, I need to achieve this to have this X amount of quality. If that makes sense, I don't know if that does make sense, because in my head, it's like, I get you, that hunger to like needing to achieve. And then the second one is the need for approval. Because I grew up in the era of where, I don't know how to put this, but it was the time where terrorism and the war in the Middle East was like hitting its peak, 01, 9/11, blah, blah, blah. So growing up, a lot of us migrant children from like the Middle East, like African countries, all those troubled areas. And so a lot of people used to look at us real funny and, oh my God, like this guy is from like, say Afghanistan, like they were fighting Osama bin Laden back in the day. And so that kind of stuck into us growing up, is because people used to judge us and always look at us really funny. A lot of what's going on in the world, especially news, kind of reflects what people perceive of you in terms of like, they like to put you with the rest of the crowd. Like, if you're Afghan or Iraqi or whatever, you're basically one of those people, from all those areas. A lot of my friends and myself, like I like to talk on behalf of we had it hard because we had to do things to kind of get approval from people, do things to an extent where we overdid things, and that became like a perfectionist habit. We wanted approval, we wanted to fit in with just being normal. And so that kind of stuck with me growing up. And it's tough because the thought process comes into your head, like the negative thought process is that that's not good enough and what people will think of you. So yeah, that's basically like the two driving forces of my thought process, like the need to achieve and getting approval for people, like the background I have, and also being hungry to achieve certain goals by X amount of time kind of drives the whole perfectionist idea, the perfectionist movement in my head. As you know, everything has a pros and cons to each situation. So can you tell me with what you're going through and what you're feeling, if there's any pros and cons? Pros and cons? Where do I even start with this? Pros would be that I guess you're driven, like you have that drive to achieve something, which is probably a pro. Another one is that you kind of know where you're going in life, I guess. Not necessarily the case for everyone, but like at least with a goal or being a perfectionist, you want to achieve that goal, so you kind of have like an outline of where life's taking you. The other thing is being grounded, I guess, being grounded and kind of having that foundation of, I don't know how to explain it, but like a process where you try to achieve something that you want to achieve. And cons, why is this question so hard? Cons is basically overdoing things would be one, not enjoying the process is another, not enjoying the moment's probably another, self-defeating thought processes, self-doubting processes. Yeah, I think that's it. Would you like to add anything else to that list of pros and cons? You think there's anything else that you'd like to add to it? I don't think I have another pros and cons, to be honest. You know how I always ask you during the whole session is that one of the biggest questions that I really enjoy myself to ask is that what advice would you give yourself? So what advice would you give yourself? Yo, you always give me with this whole hard question of what advice would I give myself? It's tough giving yourself advice because you're so crowded by so many thought processes and so many ideas in your head. Okay, I'll try my best. I think the biggest advice I'd give myself is kind of what my self-defeating thought process is, or self-doubting thought process. I need to kind of see what role it plays in my life and, kind of take note when it pops up, so that when situations arise when I start to self-doubt myself or self-defeating thought process come in my head, I know which situation triggers it, so that I can prepare for those situations and change up what I'm trying to achieve and try to do. So basically giving myself like a prep talk or something like that would be a good advice. I need to enjoy that process rather than the destination. So that's a kind of like 4 advice in one like paragraph, but that's what I would kind of tell myself to do. And another thing that I would tell myself to do is that be kind to myself as usual, and also look at the truth and my thought process and my self-defeating processes. So like if I'm trying to get an approval from someone, I have to look at the truth behind it. Like, do they really think of me like this, or do they really laugh at my name or my culture, my background? Do they really do that? And I need to look in the truth in that, because that would help me a lot, rather than automatically going into the past and using that to kind of be all closed off or try to do a lot of perfectionist habits to get people's approval. Make sense? I don't know, but I hope you kind of get where I'm coming from. And I said this before with the whole big paragraph one. I guess the biggest is advice I'd give myself is that enjoy the process. Don't look at the outcome. Just enjoy the process that you're doing and learn from that process while doing it. If you forget to enjoy the moment and the process, then the outcome is an end result. Like, what's the growth in between the start and the finish? Like, that's where you're going to grow the most, and that's where lay off your bad thoughts and self-defeating thoughts. So yeah, enjoy the process. Is there anything else you'd like to add on to this whole session? Because I think we've had a good, nice, hard and fast session with you today. It's so good to see the insides of what you're going through. Like, it's not easy opening up, it's not easy being yourself in front of people. So it's a good stepping stone. What you're doing right now is to basically open up and kind of dive deep in how you feel, which takes a lot of courage, a lot of power, like internal power to do what you're doing, and that's really good. And I hope you continue at it. And it's human nature to kind of deny how you're feeling as well. So I'm really proud of you in that sense. If there's anything you would like to add or not, now's your chance, or else we can end the session today on a good note. I don't think I have anything else to add to it. I'm really grateful, so thank you for these sessions, as usual. I don't really have anything else to say. That's about it. And thank you so much for these sessions, because it kind of helps me a lot. It kind of puts me out of that comfort zone to talk about what I'm going through, especially because I live alone and I don't really like opening up to people. That's probably the last week's talk that we had. You know, I'm worried that people would judge me for what I'm going through and that I'm a man. So society's like, you gotta be tough. So yeah. So if you guys are new to the channel, like, subscribe, share, you know, the typical drill that I always say, do it. Hopefully we see you guys next time, and thank you so much for joining our sessions. It does help us, we. It helps him to kind of open up to what he's going through. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, share it like he said, like it, subscribe to it. We'll see you guys next week. Take care and ma'asalama and peace.